Hello, my name is Billy First. Anybody that doesn't know me, so I would like to welcome you all to my workshop. What I'll be showing you is some jigs that I've made, some jigs that I've got made, and my setup on my wood turning end of the shed. So please come in. I'll just start off with this small thicknesser I've bought. It's just a wee cheap one, but it's so handy, so it is. And it's so handy where I have it, and when I want to use it, I simply just put this up here, and I have a leg for it, which goes in there. And I've also two bolts coming from here. They just slide into here, so when I'm playing, it doesn't move. It's a great job. So, next of all, I'd like to show you my table saw. It's an old Watkin table saw which I picked up a couple of years ago for £250. A bargain, a real bargain. The only thing I had to do to it was get a new motor, a new switch, and it's so accurate. I'm just so delighted with it. I think it was built around about the 60s, and what I like about it, you can pull that down out of your road like that, and you can adjust it there, just to adjust your thickness. A lot of the more expensive table saws today don't have those there. And what I made here for doing veneers is a wee jig magnets, just a small bearing goes in there. Now if I want to do a thin cut, I set that there. Then when my cut's done, I just simply move this up to the bearing and cut again, and I'm getting each veneer exactly so I am. No hassle whatsoever. So it's a very good wee tool. I've seen these on YouTube's, big elaborate jigs and all, but I thought to myself, cast iron table, some magnets on the bottom which I take off the magnet strips out of littles. You can take them all off, they're all individual magnets and they're a great job. Another wee jig, with this being so precision, this here is very hard to get out, so what I do is simply just put that in, screw that with a spanner, and the whole lot lifts up to get up the blade. So finally, I have a large router here under here which I've installed, which comes up. It's very handy. And when I do any big work, I simply pull that back, put the blade down, put that up, and I have a great workbench area. I never use the bench I have just in front of me here. So this makes a great workbench. I'd like to show you this here. This is about 3/4 inch steel piping which I picked up in the scrapyard, filled it with concrete, and the base goes right down to the solid concrete floor. I use this here to cut my discs, my wad punch. It's really good, so it is. And I just make my 2-inch discs out of 6-inch round discs, and I get about 5 out of them. At the minute, I'm going to get another bigger one made, which my brother is going to make for me. I've also got this planer here, although it is a thicknesser as well. I'm not happy with it. It doesn't do it the way I like to. The reason being, I bought the small thicknesser, but for plain surface squaring up, it's brilliant. I have this on a trolley, so if I want to do anything long, just simply pull it out, and away I go, and push it back in again. This is my compressor, which is linked through the wall there to the wood turning end of my shed. It's a silent compressor. When I say silent, there's some noise off it, but not as much as the ones you do get, and it's a great wee compressor. This is my workbench with the faces on it. I don't use it as a workbench, as more so this one here. Ordinary face here for wood. Very good friend of mine gave me this other face, so I adapted it to make it into a metalworking face with steel plates on it, and it works a treat. With the sharp edges, I can bend thin metal or anything, and it's great, so it is. As you can see, this is just basic wood working tools, store from a wood, as everybody has. And this is a press I picked up from a school I used to go to, and they knocked it down. So I was able to pick up this press from the woodworking end of it, and it is absolutely brilliant. It's good for veneers, different things like that there. It's really, really good. This is a small router, which a very good friend gave me, and it's great for just small stuff. You just want quickly to router small stuff, and it's great. The handle was broken, so I just made a new handle for it, but it's a great wee router for small stuff. Here is my wood turning end, so it is. So I would like you to come in and have a look at this. So here's more wood, as we all have loads of wood stacked up everywhere. Like to go around, this is cabinet. I have picked these small drawers up very cheaply, and as you can see, everything's marked where the stuff, screws, spanners, whatever. It's so handy when you do that there. It means you can just go straight to it and there's no hassle. So this is a jig I've made. It's steady. It's not bad. I'm gonna redo another one, maybe make a bigger one, but it's very good for small stuff. It works quite well. Just wee bearings there, that's all it is. Screw, wing nut, adjustable, no big deal. Bandsaw. This is another jig for doing the bottom of your bowl, which another friend has made me. It's quite good. Grinder. Now my grinder, I have a vacuum outside, and I made this here for to collect the dust, and it works quite well. It's three ways. One is for over there at my lathe, which I'll come back to you, and just simply take that out. This is for my sander, and this one here is for my chop saw. I haven't got one for the bandsaw. It didn't work too well, so I just keep opening the door and hoover it out, no big deal. Drill press. And what I've done with this drill press, if anybody's got a solid wall, I made this here for it and bolted to the wall, and you have no movement whatsoever. It's a really great job, because when I had this off, it was quite wobbly. I made this face here, which is very good for if you want to do broad wood, and what I've done to it, I've put a nut on there, so I simply just put my drill on there with a small socket and just wind it out, and then just adjust it for tightener. It works very well, so it does. You'll notice in the workshop as I'm around my lathe, everything is surrounded around the lathe. I like this setup because it means I can just turn whatever and have everything at hand. And this here is a great job. My son was getting a new kitchen and he gave me these here, and it just flips up, keep on the chucks there, blues or whatever, and this comes down and this almost finishes or whatever. That makes a great wee worktop and a small sharpener for my pencils. So it works very well. And this here I made for my iridescent paints, which is very handy. I have magnets on the bottom, which is simply put on that there, and you just work away whatever you want to do. It's very, very handy. And these here are just made from what are they for? Deodorant tops, and I just drilled a hole and set them in, and they work very well. I'm going to start with the jigs I've made. Now this jig here, these mountain jaws, I originally bought those to make one of those here to do the bottom of bowls. I made it in wood, but it didn't work out, so I thought to myself, I'll make this here for that there. I make a lot of the apples and pears and things like that there, and that is absolutely brilliant with the rubber on that there. It's no problem, doesn't mark the wood or anything. It's great for apples and pears, as I say. Also small boxes if you want to do the bottoms, and if you want to reduce, just give me a second, if you want to reduce it, I just strips of rubber and I just set those in to reduce it. And the way I've done that there, I can always do the ends of it, maybe a small bowl. It's really brilliant. Over the last weekend I was made a lot of the apples and pears, and it was fantastic, no movement at all on it, so it's a really great wee jig. So as you can see, this is the tools. I'm showing you his face plates. My brother has a metal turning lathe, and he makes a lot of stuff for me. So he made me these here. That's for a smaller jaw, a bigger jaw, and this is for the big Axminster jaws. Really, really brilliant. Great job, no movement at all. You have your dovetail and all, and you'll never move it. And the reason I put holes in there, if you're doing a sort of smaller bowl and you have the holes there, the holes would probably show up. So I drilled those there to make it into for a smaller bowl, so when you reverse turn it, you don't see the holes. This is another wee rest my brother again made me. Adjustable. It's great doing hollow forms. Loosen it and you can get it right in, and with your rest resting on it. It's absolutely brilliant wee tool. And you know, there's nothing really to it. If you knew anybody that would make you those or whatever, but to buy the likes of those, it costs you a small fortune. This is a wee thing here I made. It's just a bit of square bar, and all that is there is a hacksaw blade. So if you want to do maybe lines and something, you have that distance, and you'll get that distance perfect the whole way around. And if you want a wider one, just loosen your nut and put a few washers on it. I've used that quite a lot, and it's a brilliant job. So it is very simple, nothing to it. What else have we here? This is a rest I made. I make rolling pins, anything long, and it's really brilliant. It's just a bit of round bar, then a bit of I think that's 1/2 inch square bar just to give it more strength. Excuse the welding, I've done that myself, not great, but it works the best. Great job, so it is. This is the coal jaws. I made these myself because the ones I had on this here, they're on the other one there that I got made. This is just like a hard plastic here and foam wrapped around it and tape, and it's brilliant. Normally the coal jaws had like an Allen key fitting. It's a bit of a nuisance. Sometimes you would ring the Allen key, ring the nut. So what I done, I just got stainless steel bolts, and then what I do is just put that on the drill and turn it on, and it's so quick and easy, and you never shear it or anything, or ring the wee hexagon. So I find it very, very handy. As you can see, this is where all my centers, drills, whatever I need, all so easy access to the lathe. That's easy access to the lathe. This is easy access. As I say, I like everything compact around the lathe, so I'm not moving across my workshop to pick up things. I feel it's much safer when you have everything in hand. You just have to turn around. You're not moving about the workshop. I showed you earlier a wee vacuum system. So it comes right round to here to my lathe, and I'm going to show you how powerful it is. So what I'm going to do, the way I've done it is, when I'm not using this for dust, when I'm turning, I put that in, and then take that out and block that. So I do that reverse the way, and it's quite a suction there. And I block that and simply put that in. And I'll just show you how powerful it is. This here is great because I can get in there, clean around the lathe, and I'm just going to show you how good this is. I'd like to move on to the jigs my brother made me. He's a character. He goes into YouTube and sees these jigs, I should say. He rings me, but I seen this jig, so I did on YouTube. I'm going to make it. So he's made me jigs. Some jigs I may never use, but anyway, he makes me them anyway. So I'd like to go to the first one. This is for doing balls. I never use it, to be quite honest. I never use it. So what I do with this here, I drilled a hole in my rest and topped it, and it just screws in there. me just show you. The reason for this here, it gives you more scope, and it gives you, if you're doing a bigger piece, so I'll just take it. It gives you more scope, and if you want to do a bigger piece, look how distance you can go, and it's a great job. It is a really great jig, a wee adjuster for coming in and out. You can adjust it this way as well. But you know, as I say, I never use it. I make most of my balls just freehand, which I actually like doing. Okay. So here's another jig which I do use for indexing, and it is absolutely brilliant. There again, I put a bolt through there and bolt it to that there. I can adjust it this way if I want. I can adjust my height. So it's just a matter of putting a drill on that there. Again, then it's really great for indexing. It's a great job, and I'm very pleased with that there. I'd like to move on to this jig here for doing hollow forms. He also made me this, so he did. It's a thick mark design, and I haven't used it yet, but the way this is operated, it's just simply in your rest, and you don't turn on this side, you turn on the opposite side, but obviously your lathe is still going that way. And it's just the small round tips on it. So you go from that end there. The reason being, you can see this end here when you're turning, you know how far you're getting in and the thickness or whatever. And as you can see, no catches or nothing. The one in thick mark had none of these here, so I made myself a handle here just to be sure, so I don't get a twist on it. But as you can see how versatile that is, you can go in anyway, and it's so versatile. As I say, I haven't used it yet, but I will get around to using it. But it's a brilliant jig, so it is really good. Now I've seen these here on, I think it was YouTube, and they cost about $250, which no way I would pay. I wouldn't pay big money for any jigs. If I can get them made or make them myself, I do it, because a lot of jigs can be made very easily. So before I had this here, I made myself a small scraper for doing hollow forms. I'd just like to show you. So here's a small scraper that I've made. It's great. You put it in, and obviously you're holding it here, and you're holding it like that there, and you know, you don't get a kickback. But to me, that there is much safer. So it is. There's no way that's going to kick on you. So I'd like to show you this here, which is very handy if you're doing bowls or anything, or spraying, and you don't want the walls all dirty or anything. So what I done was I made this here. I picked this up in our local hardware store. I think it's used for straps on a wall if you're putting rafters in. So I bought two of those and just bent it. Put 4 magnets on it, and just simply just push that out of the road. That's it. So it's on a magnet, and it's a great job. Just another wee thing I want to show you. I know a lot of you have this here, and you put it on your lathe with a bolt and things like that there. But I put the magnet strips on it, so that's just one magnet strip, and there's none at all in that there, which all the magnets are taken out, but it's just to balance that up. And that simply just goes on tools, lathes. I usually put it there, you know, and that's very handy. It saves you any messing about trying to clamp it to the bed. With the magnets again, it's just so handy. And I simply, with it being a magnet, just simply put it away, clamp it there out of the road, and that's it out of the road. Well, I also forgot to mention this here. This is Brian's idea for when you're sharpening your tools, the magnet, and it works really well. It's brilliant, so it is. So thank you, Brian, for that wee tip. It's just those magnets again out of littles, the long strips I took out, and just glued it onto this plastic here, and I just set it down, whatever one I'm using. So it's a great wee tip Brian's come up with, and as he says, the things coming off that is dangerous, so it's a good job. Here's another jig that I made, nothing elaborate. just from paper. This here is just a bit of an aluminium tube with a wee bit of soft rubber on it. I'm going to use that for when I'm doing the apples or pears, as I showed you earlier with my jig. Getting them out is a bit difficult, so I've made this here long enough to go right through, and it just knocks me wee apple out. It's very handy. As you see, shower curtains, they obviously stop a lot of shavings coming, which is very handy, and I know most of you have this here. It's in two pieces, which makes it handier. And then I have this here. I got this given to me by a friend, a very good friend. You just don't know him, Bruce. He gave me this here, and I find those dust extractors are the best rather than the raccord ones, because you have it right round, and it's amazing the dust that collects, so it does. Now, if you notice, some of us have these and you have a wee nut. It's a bit of a nuisance, the wee nut, because taking it out, I've dropped it many a time. So what I simply have done is put 3 small magnets onto it, and push it up, and the magnets just catch that bit there, and pop it up. There you are. It's so simple. You're not losing no screws or nothing. I use a lot of magnets, as you can see, around my lathe, pencils. I have a pencil at each machine, bandsaw, drill, so it means I can just pick it as I go round. This is just simple more covered space. My sprays, which I use a lot in wood turning, especially my bowls. Just different things. Sawdust cuttings, which is very handy if you want to fill in any holes or anything. Of different woods there. A lot of you are familiar with this here, which is a great buy. You know, it's so light. Press the button, put it on, and with your 2 filters there. And on a full charge, that'll run for 8 hours. And then also, it's a bump cap, so you're really, well, relatively safe when you're working at the lathe. If anything flies off, hopefully not, it'll hit the bump cap. You've that there, protect you. Great job, great job. I know a few of the boys have those there, and they're really pleased with them. This is the part I keep all my sanding discs, as you can see. I find when I'm doing bowls, especially outside, this is just a small cheap grinder. It's absolutely brilliant for doing outside of bowls. I don't worry about if there's wee bumps, end grain or anything. This here, I'll take it all out. So what I simply do is, I have different sizes. I got these here in littles. I bought 3 of them. I bought a big one. There. It's about a 2.5 inch one. Screw that on. And then a 2-inch one, which does these discs here, which I showed you earlier on with my wad punch. I punch out. Now, and I'm in my brother's in the process of making me another wad punch to take bigger discs for this here. So hopefully I'll get that soon. But you know, it's a great job. Those wee discs, and the grinder is absolutely brilliant for doing outside of bowls. And just bits of piping, put it in, out of the road. I'm plugged in there. I'm not plugged in there. I had it in there before, but it was a bit of a nuisance. The cables coming across, so I put them all in there, and I don't have to move them about. I've got to mention this is from my compressor. Obviously, it comes through the wall there, and there. I use that a lot for cleaning out bowls or whatever. Center finder. I found that there, believe it or not, on a skip, and it was a right angle. Well, for the so I put that there to do the right angles on square blocks, and just a bit of perspex stuck on there, and it works the best. Another wee jig that didn't have to pay for it. So this here, I made, which is very handy. It's just a simple bit of wood, and the hole's 2 1/4. They're 2 inch, so I can take it out freely, and it's very, very handy. And if I'm doing demonstrations or anything, I just pull the rubber across, and it keeps them all in place. But it's very handy wee thing, so it is. Yeah. Also, this is all just the ordinary ones for the drill for doing inside holes and things like that there. Just have a number of those. This is just another wee jig. A lot of these have made these, so I thought I'd do one better on you. Just put that there on it. For getting the depths of bowls. It's very handy, so it is. Just a piece of chrome piping, hand, you know, bit of wood, obviously. Just that there. This works the best. So this is my sharpening system, the Pro Edge. A lot of you have these here. I find them very good for the gouges. I like using it. So there again, I've laid this here out of the road. Just a wee hole and a bit of dowel for that. Keeps everything nice and neat. Made this myself. I didn't want to buy the one for that. It costs money. So that there just works out the best for me for gauging the gouges and things like that there. Lately I've invested in these wheels here. Absolutely brilliant. So they're 8-inch ones. They're not diamond ones. I forget the name of it. Let's see. What's the name of it? They're called CBN wheels, and they're absolutely brilliant. Now this plate I put on myself is fixed to the original rest, which wasn't very steady. Also, if you notice here, this here was quite wobbly. So what I did was cut 2 blocks of wood and stuck them just below the guard here, and that makes that dead steady, and it's just a great job. And I still have my adjusters there and things like that there. Now I use this here mostly for my skews, scrapers and that there. So with my scrapers, I keep them at the one angle. So I simply just made this wee jig here and just set it there, and that gives me an exact angle for my scrapers. It's really handy. There again, I made it. You can buy those there, but why buy one when you can make one? This is obviously just a storage for my discs. The discs I use for cutting the 2-inch ones. You can buy those anywhere. I would like to point this here out. If you have any old saws, throw away saws, keep them. They're great for making scrapers. I make them all the time, and there's a scraper there I've made out of a saw, round one, square one, whatever. That's handy for getting inside bowls, outside bowls. But the steel in them's very good, and there again, I don't know how much they cost, but there's another free thing that you can make them out of, you know, a saw, because you just throw them away anyway, so you might as well keep them. And finally, I would like to show you this here. This is the sort of thing I make, called a butcher's block. And the reason I'm going to show you this here, I'm not saying I've developed a tool for doing it flat, but the tool I've made for it works brilliant. As I say, I make these here, butcher blocks. This is for, I sell a lot to people. It's really in the barbecues. I've sold a few to chefs, sold a few in England and Kilkenny, and it's very, very popular. It's just beech wood all glued together. This is obviously for the grease, and then these are wee sumps to collect the grease. And the reason I'm showing you this here is that I've developed, well, I'm not saying I've developed the tool, probably somebody else has done it, but it can be quite hard to get it so flat using a gouge or whatever, and you're working at it. So I was really getting pissed off with it, and I said to myself, there must be some way. So what I did was, first of all, I tried this here, just an ordinary flat scraper. So when I was doing them, I tried first of all I tried the gouge, working in and doing a push cut right across, but I could never get it as flat as I would like to. So I thought to myself, well, I'll use a scraper, and I used this here scraper here, and it still wasn't working the way I wanted to. So I thought to myself, I have another big scraper there, I'll try this. So what I done was, this one here, I cut this was an ordinary flat scraper, so I cut that off and grinded it. And first of all, I was in a point, and I tried it, put that right to the work, up high and down. I was working alright, the point was tearing the wood, so I thought to myself, I'll take the point off and do another grind there. As you can see, the grind there. So when I done that there, that just shaded through it, and that just kept it flat, and it was absolutely brilliant. I only had to do 2 passes, and the block was completely flat. So, as I say, it's just a wee tip. You know, I don't know if they've been developed by anybody else, but I thought to myself, well, to me, I thought it was a good idea, and it worked for me. So that's just another wee thing that maybe you'll think about. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the workshop tour. My setup I like, maybe not to everybody's taste. The jigs, I hope you've got some ideas from the jigs. I know the big jigs that my brother made me on a lathe is a different matter, but the smaller jigs I've made is simple enough, you know. And before I go, I forgot to mention this here. I have a compass here. Now I made this here out of, I had a spare caliper, so what I done was cut them off, cut the point off, and put it in there. And the reason I made this here, the calipers are all for just ordinary round pencils, and you know what it's like, they break it so easy. So I made this here, and it's really brilliant. That's just a bit of conduit, so it is, and then that's drilled and topped, and then I can adjust that there, and that is obviously already on it, and you know that gives me quite a distance, and that is absolutely brilliant, and it's so simple. So it is, as I say, it has the thicker pencil, the lead doesn't break as easy, and it's a great job. Also, I don't know if any, probably a lot of these have got this here, but I've seen these in littles for a smaller one, £6, and I thought absolutely brilliant for £6. So that's my calipers. So I hope you've enjoyed it anyway, and if any questions or anything, don't hesitate to ask me. So thank you all for joining me in my workshop.